What if some of the world's most valuable companies were already profiting from your online order before it ever left the warehouse? Most shoppers assume the seller and the platform are the only ones earning from a purchase. In reality, a single buy now click sets off a chain reaction across a dozen different industries: advertising, payments, cloud computing, logistics, insurance, and data. By the time a package reaches your door, it has already generated revenue for a whole ecosystem of businesses, many of which never touch the product at all. This is one of the clearest examples in modern business of what investors call a value chain, a sequence of companies, each capturing a thin slice of margin, that together turn a $30 pair of headphones into a multi-billion-dollar industry. Understanding this chain explains why so many of the world's largest companies by market capitalization are not manufacturers at all, but the infrastructure sitting quietly behind the manufacturers. The marketplace. Amazon as landlord, not retailer. When you search for headphones on Amazon, you are not really shopping in a store. You are walking through a mall Amazon owns but does not stock. Jeff Bezos built Amazon's marketplace model on a simple insight. It is more profitable to let millions of merchants sell through you than to sell everything yourself. This is the same logic that made shopping mall landlords wealthy long before e-commerce existed, except Amazon collects rent on every single transaction instead of a flat monthly lease. On every third-party sale, Amazon collects a referral commission, typically between 8 and 15% depending on the category, plus separate fees for storage, fulfillment, returns, and subscriptions. This is why analysts at firms like Morgan Stanley and Bernstein often value Amazon less like a retailer and more like a toll road operator. It profits from traffic passing through, regardless of who wins the sale between competing sellers. Warren Buffett has spoken for decades about businesses with a durable moat, a structural advantage competitors cannot easily cross. Amazon's marketplace, its logistics network, and its Prime membership program together form exactly that kind of moat, which is part of why Berkshire Hathaway eventually took a position in the company, something that would have seemed unlikely earlier in Buffett's career, given his historical preference for simpler, asset-heavy businesses. Shopify tells a similar story from a different angle. Rather than owning the marketplace, Toby Lutke built Shopify as the toolkit that lets independent merchants build their own storefronts, and it earns a small fee on nearly every transaction those merchants process, whether or not the shopper ever knows Shopify exists. The auction you never see. Digital advertising. Before you even click buy, a hidden auction has already taken place. Alphabet, which owns Google, and Meta, which owns Facebook and Instagram, run advertising businesses worth hundreds of billions of dollars combined, powered by real-time bidding auctions that complete in milliseconds. Type best wireless headphones into Google, and brands are bidding against each other for that exact search the same instant you type it. Amazon runs its own internal version of this system through sponsored product placements, where sellers pay per click whether or not you ever buy anything. Sundar Pichai, Alphabet's chief executive, has often described search advertising as a business built on matching intent with information at the exact moment a decision is being made, which is precisely why advertisers are willing to pay so much for that fraction of a second. This is the business model financial analysts describe as monetizing attention, and it explains why Alphabet and Meta post advertising margins that rival luxury goods companies, despite selling no physical product at all. Attention has effectively become a commodity that trades in real time, priced auction by auction, much the way oil or wheat trades on a futures exchange. The toll collectors, payment networks. Once you pay, your money does not travel directly to the seller, it passes through a chain of financial intermediaries. Visa and MasterCard authorize and route the transaction. Stripe and PayPal process it on the merchant's behalf. Your bank verifies funds and screens for fraud, all within seconds, often without you noticing that several separate companies just did their job. Each of these players takes a small cut, often just 1 to 3%, but at global scale this becomes enormous. Visa and MasterCard together process trillions of dollars annually without manufacturing anything, holding inventory, or employing a single delivery driver. It is a business model close to what finance calls asset-light, high-margin infrastructure, similar in spirit to how a stock exchange profits from trading volume rather than from the value of the securities themselves. Peter Thiel, who co-founded PayPal in its early days, has often pointed to payments as one of the purest examples of a business earning a small, repeatable toll on economic activity it does not otherwise participate in. The warehouse economy. Fulfillment as a profit center. Modern fulfillment centers, powered by robotics, barcode systems, and predictive software, do not just store goods. They generate revenue at every stage of the process. Sellers using Fulfillment by Amazon pay for storage space, picking, packing, and shipping labels, separately and continuously, long before a single item ships. This is also where Amazon's most profitable division quietly operates in the background, Amazon Web Services, or AWS. Even though AWS is a cloud computing business rather than a retail one, it powers the servers behind countless competing retailers, payment processors, and streaming platforms, including, at times, Amazon's own rivals. Andy Jassy, who ran AWS before becoming Amazon's chief executive, has often pointed to AWS's margins as proof that infrastructure, not retail, is where the deepest profits in modern business tend to live. It is a lesson Satya Nadella applied at Microsoft as well, shifting the company's center of gravity toward Azure cloud services for much the same reason. The physical journey, logistics as a relay race. No single company carries your package the whole way. DHL, FedEx, and UPS typically split the journey between them. Air transport, regional sorting, long-haul trucking, and last-mile delivery are often handled by different specialists, each collecting its own fee for one narrow piece of the trip. Fred Smith, founder of FedEx, built the company's original model on the idea that speed and reliability in logistics could be sold as a premium service in its own right, a concept that is now core to how e-commerce pricing works across the entire industry. Data, the asset with no physical form. Every click, search, and abandoned cart is a data point. Companies like Amazon, Google, and Meta use this behavioral data to forecast demand, personalize pricing, and refine advertising, creating a feedback loop where more shopping produces better algorithms, and better algorithms produce more shopping. This is why so much of big tech's valuation on Wall Street is tied not to physical assets but to data and network effects. The same reason investors like Cathie Wood at ARK Invest have argued that data-driven platforms deserve valuations closer to software companies than to traditional retailers. Insurance and reverse logistics, profiting from risk and returns. Shipping insurers collect steady premiums while paying claims on only a small share of shipments, a model built on the same statistical logic that underpins the insurance industry generally, from Lloyd's of London to modern logistics insurers operating today. Even uncertainty, in this system, becomes a predictable and profitable source of revenue. Returns follow a similar pattern. What looks like a loss to the customer often becomes a business opportunity elsewhere in the chain. Companies inspect, refurbish, repackage, and resell returned goods through secondary channels, and this reverse logistics industry is now worth hundreds of billions of dollars globally, employing its own specialized workforce that most shoppers never think about. The real lesson: diversified, layered revenue. No single company captures the full value of an online purchase. Instead, thousands of specialized businesses, cloud providers, advertisers, payment processors, warehouses, carriers, insurers, and data analysts each take a thin slice of a much larger pie. This layered structure is a case study in a core finance principle. Durable businesses rarely rely on one revenue stream. Bezos, Buffett, Jassy, and Nadella have each, in their own way, built or praised companies designed around exactly this kind of diversified, recurring, infrastructure-like income, where thousands of small transactions, not one big sale, add up to billions over time. It is a philosophy closer to how Charlie Munger described great businesses, not exciting in any single moment, but compounding quietly and reliably in the background. The next time you click Buy Now, remember that your order is not a single transaction. It is the trigger for one of the most sophisticated financial systems ever built, and most of the profit is already booked long before the box ever reaches your front door.